trust me, you will be better off for it. That's all. And that brings me to fourth down. It's been a pretty quiet week in the South for NAIA women's football, flag football. I almost don't want to say flag football. I just want to say football. I don't know. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna say women's football. Nope, I have to say flag football because there is women's football. That's why. So it's been it's been a quiet week in the South for NAI women's flag football because there were some teams that didn't play because they had to back off because of possible exposures or whatever. We understand it. This is a brand new world that we live in. So when we look at our rankings, it's it's pretty much going to be the same or similar as last week, but with you know a few changes. Well, not a few changes, but a little wrinkle. So first off, shout out to some honorable mentions. We already talked about the University of Florida's women's club team. They were dominant this past week. They were drilling teams, and you got to really appreciate what they do. Shout out to um, Xavier University in Louisiana, who was able to get their first win of the season over Milligan University. They won 14-6. Um, Milligan, way to bounce back from that 80 something to zero, loss. You got to appreciate teams that continue to fight. Um, Also, honorable mention goes out to Midland University, who got 2 wins. They were able to secure 2 wins this past weekend. Excuse me, a big 56-0 win over Xavier and a 54-0 win over Milligan. So, shout out to Midland for their for their work this week as well. Um, but any more shout outs? Let me make sure before I go on into top five. No, I think that's pretty much it for them. Shout out to the teams that are still getting started. Shout out to the teams that are still finding their way. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the finished products look like towards the end of the year when you get into conference tournament play and into NAIA championship play. But my top five, number five, Stillwater University. They were postponed. They were supposed to have a doubleheader versus St. Thomas and Kaiser. They were supposed to kind of do like a um, tri-team thing, and so they had to pull out, and those games were postponed until later. So hard to pull someone down, and nobody from below them really stood out to drop them off the top five. So they will remain as the number five team. The number 14, St. Thomas University. They actually lost, but they lost. They lost to Kaiser, and they lost 19-6. And so, like, I had to give a little bit of love for them, showing that defensive prowess and really, making Jasmine Rhodes struggle at quarterback. She missed a lot of throws. She also had 2 interceptions. She did, however, account for a touchdown reception, and I think she ran for another like 40 plus yards, but definitely not the Jasmine Rhodes we saw last week. Number 3, Ottawa University. Ottawa University lost to the University of Florida, which we've established is probably the best women's team in, the United States when it comes to flag football. Definitely the best organization in my eyes. They lost 20-6. That was respectable because Florida's been blowing people out 40-something to 0, 30-something to 0. So losing 20-6 is nothing to sneeze at. Madison Carrera had almost 300 yards in total offense. You know how hard that is in flag football to get almost 300 yards in total offense? It says a lot about what she was doing out there. She was putting in work. Number 2, Weber International. Excuse me. That's supposed to be number 3 was Weber International. And number 2 was Ottawa. So Ottawa, I apologize. I actually rose you in the rankings after that UF game. Weber International, their game was postponed, and I know I didn't drop Warner, but I was impressed with Ottawa's performance versus Florida because you know how high I hold Florida in esteem. Weber International, they were postponed. They were supposed to play Florida Memorial. They didn't play. They'll get back at it here soon. So they're number 3. Ottawa's number 2, as I just was talking about. And number 1 remains Kaiser University. And Kaiser University, we already talked about, they beat St. Thomas 19-6. People can't score on them. 19-6. I believe that despite Rose throwing 2 interceptions, Elise Liggett, who is the backup quarterback, but also I believe plays other positions, she threw 2 touchdowns. Maria Vega, defensive player, had an interception that went for a touchdown. That was a pick 6. So if you think about the game at 19-6, it was probably the game clinching touchdown. It put it out of reach. She stepped in front of it. 19 yards later, she's in the end zone. Also added 2 tackles. Maria Vega, defensive player for Kaiser University. So I left them at number 1. I think they're probably going to be number 1, although I do want to see them play UF. I really want to see them play Florida. Somebody please let me know. Is there a game scheduled between Kaiser and the University of Florida? And if there's not, why is there not a game between Kaiser and the University of Florida? I definitely want to see it. So shout out to the ladies. Another week. Continue doing your thing, ladies. We really do love you. We really do appreciate what y'all are doing. Love watching y'all play. Love that sport. Shout out to all the high schools that are going through flag football right now. You're in the thick of it. Keep fighting. Shout out to the people who've already completed their season. Hopefully, you're having success at the other sports that you play, like soccer or softball, because we know that most of our flag football athletes, women flag football athletes, also play other sports. So congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to number 1 Kaiser University. And once again, shout out to our spotlight of the day, Amanda Chromiak, founder of the UF Women's Club Flag Football Team. We really do appreciate everything that you brought to the game of women's flag football. And we wish you well. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice beverage for all of your hard work. And shout out to those ladies and to the coaches for everything they do at the UF Women's Club Flag Football. So that's a fantastic thing. Make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, or make sure that you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Coach Gene Clemens, Offensive Interference Podcast webcast is getting more regular every week. I've kind of put myself in a position where I have to come back and talk to you every week because I got to give you these updates in the NAIA women's flag football. So I might as well talk to you about everything else. Make sure that you're looking out for features that are coming. I've been teasing winging it for a long time. Trust me, it's coming. I'm really going to enjoy it too. You would have had it before, but obviously the world broke. And so now, as we start coming out of this, I'm already one shot in. I'm waiting on my second shot. We're going to get an opportunity to get back out there and get popping again. And when I do, I'm going to have some fantastic guests. So you're going to want to sit, have some wings with us as we talk sports and life and everything else in between. But until next time, I've been Coach Gene Clemens. Y'all have a fantastic one. Be safe, be blessed.